Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, sports fans. It is another day. It is the midweek edition of the program, Nagari Sports, right on Nagari FM 88.7. My name is OJ Matthew, your regular host on the show. And on this edition of the program, we have, of course, all the information you really deserve to know concerning the World Cup qualification. Yes, the World Cup qualification around the world, not just Africa, okay, around the world, and the position of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So it's nice, having you on the program now. Without, wasting time, let's quickly bring you up to speed with the latest from the world of tennis before we bring you latest from the world of football. Now, talking about table tennis, in this case, table tennis, Quadri Aruna made a powerful start to his WTT Champions Macau 2025 campaign with a straight games victory over China's Hong Yunzing in the men's singles round of 32 yesterday. The world number 26 who has endured a difficult run of form in recent months was in commanding mood at the Macau East Asian Games Dome as he brushed aside the white card entry 11-3, 11-8, and of course 11-8. And Aruna won 33 points overall compared to Hong's 19, converting 19 of his own serve and 14 of his opponent. The 36-year-old's dominance was underlined by an 8-point lead at 8-star widest margin and a run of 7 consecutive points, while Hong's best rally stretched to just 2. So the Nigerian now advances to the round of 16, where he will face the winner of today's clash between Germany's Patrick Franziska and 6th seed Zheng Peng of China. All right. Of course, let's talk football now, but we will be talking about the NNL as Abubakar Bukola Saraki, that's ABS FC, have announced Yusuf Salihu as their new head coach for the 2025-2026 Nigerian National League season. Now, the Ilorin-based club announced Salihu's appointment at a brief ceremony at the Taiwo Awoni Media Sports Center, Akwara Swan Secretariat, George Inini Stadium in Ilorin. Now, Salihu expressed gratitude for his opportunity and outlined his vision for the club. Football is teamwork, and that's why it remains a collective game. I can't do it alone. With unity, commitment, and of course the support of the management and stakeholders, we will succeed, Salihu stated during his unveiling. Salihu took over from Cameroonian-born tactician Encho Anthony, who left the club at the end of last season. So ABS failed to reach the NNL playoffs in the 2024-2025 season. Okay, now let's talk about the World Cup qualification now, and we'll begin from the African continent as Cape Verde, just one win away from qualifying for the World Cup for the first time after upsetting continental heavyweights Cameroon by 1-0. The Blue Sharks lead the Indomitable Lions by 4 points with 2 rounds of fixtures remaining in Group D, following a stunning victory secured by Delion Livramento's solo effort in the second half in Paria. Of course, elsewhere, Pape Matasar scored the winner as Senegal fought back from 2-0 down to beat DR Congo 3-2 and move atop of their group. Now, Ivory Coast preserved their 1-point advantage over Gabon at the summit of Group F after securing a goalless draw away against the Panthers. The reigning continental champions who last featured at the World Cup in 2014 came close to defeat when Xavi Babisca struck the post from the host for the host in the 87th minute. Meanwhile, Nigeria's no hope of automatic progress to the 2026 finals are slim after the Super Eagles could only draw 1-1 away against Group C leaders South Africa when a win was realistically required to stay in contention. And Egypt missed the chance to book their spot at the finals with 2 games to spare in Group A after a goalless draw in Burkina Faso. Only the 9 group winners in African qualifying are assured of a place at the finals, with the 4 best ranked secured place sides entering playoffs for one spot at one intercontinental tournament come next year. So Morocco and Tunisia have already secured passage to the finals. And a former Bafana goalkeeper Itumeleng Kune has claimed that Kelvin Bassey's no goal for Nigeria should have been ruled out. Yes, that's what he said. He said it should have been ruled out. Now, Super Eagles captain William Troost Ekong slotted the ball into his own net in the 25th minute to give South Africa the lead. And Fulham defender Bassey equalized for Nigeria in the 45th minute from a header. Now, the ball, however, hit Bassey's hand before going into the net. And Bafana players protested afterwards, but the center referee turned down their appeals. A disappointed Kone, they said VAR would have cancelled the goal if it was used in that game yesterday. I don't know how the referee missed that. He was in a good position to see, but he didn't see it. His linesman couldn't see it also, because when you look at Bassey, he jumps up more than anyone else, Kune said on SABC. Now, South Africa head coach Hugo Broos has praised his players for standing up to the challenge of the Super Eagles. Now, Bafana and Nigeria battled to a 1-1 draw in a keenly contested 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying match day 8 encounter at the Toyota Stadium, Bloemfontein, on Tuesday night. South Africa went in front after Nigeria captain William Troost Ekong, bundled the ball into his own net in the 25th minute. Yes, of course, Bruce, heaped praise on his players after the game for matching the physicality of the opponent, which of course are Nigerians. Of course, it was a match like I expected, a physical match, much harder from the opponent. It's only in the second half when they tried to win the game with power football, but we did a very good game. Also, the Belgian said after the game. Of course, you can have your say on the show right now. Have you say what you make of the game yesterday? Are you disappointed with the results? And what, in fact, your general analysis of the game between Bafana and, of course, the Super Eagles of Nigeria? How about the pitch? Was the pitch really disappointing to you as far as you are concerned? So the pitch actually played a part to Super Eagles draw with Bafana. Just your general analysis about the game, and realistically, do you think that we can still qualify? So have your say this morning, wherever you are listening to me from. 0813 538 2642. 0813-538-2642 is the studio line for you to call this morning and be part of the show. And let's talk about the match, yes, between Super Eagles and Bafana yesterday. A lot of people expressing disappointment over the outcome, but there are those who, of course, expected the result to be like that yesterday. Anyway, and now the Super Eagles head coach Eric Chill has said his side won't give up on their quest to secure a place at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now, the three-time African champions have suffered a big setback in their bid to make it to the Global Soccer Fiesta after battling to a 1-1 draw with South Africa in Bloemfontein on Tuesday night. So Nigeria remain in third position on the Group B log with 11 points from 8 matches. Now the Super Eagles will need to win their remaining 2 games against Lesotho and of course Benin Republic to have any chance of picking the World Cup ticket. So Chill said that they will keep fighting hard until the end, despite their precarious position in that group. All right. My players are professionals, and I know they will still not want to win the remaining two games. A lot can happen over the next 1 month, but before that, we will have to analyze our performance tonight, which will not be easy. He said your Super Eagles will be away to Lesotho when the qualifiers resume next month, and Chill's side will now round up their qualifying campaign with a home clash with the Squirrels of Benin Republic. Okay, so that is the situation. So that match with Lesotho will still be played, or might still be played in South Africa, but we don't know if it will be the Bloemfontein, stadium, the pitch they used yesterday. Honestly, the pitch is a disaster, and a lot of people have been talking about the standard of that pitch. Now, more than 80 countries, yes, more than 80 countries have failed in their quest to secure qualification for the 2026 World Cup. This comes following the conclusion of the September World Cup qualifiers played across the globe. In the African zone, about 18 nations have failed in their quest to secure next year's World Cup ticket after recording the lowest points in their different groups. So the countries are Congo, Chad, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Eswatini, Zimbabwe, Kenya, Lesotho, Mauritania, Mauritius, Sao Tome and Principe, Seychelles, Somalia, South Sudan, the Gambia, Togo, Burundi, and of course, Central African Republic. So those are the 18 countries so far from the African continent that have failed in their quest to secure next year's World Cup ticket after recording the lowest points in their different groups. This is Negeri Sports right here on Negeri FM 88.7 Bringing KB. Okay, more stories to come your way, more stories, and I will quickly take you to Europe as England delivered the finest performance of head coach Thomas Tuchel's reign as it took a giant stride towards World Cup qualification by outclassing Serbia in Belgrade in a game regarded as the toughest test Tuchel has faced since taking charge. England were superb from the start. This win meaning they now need 5 points. Just 5 points from their final 3 games to reach next summer's showpiece. So England took 33 minutes to make their domination count. The goal coming from the most familiar source as Captain Harry Kane headed home Declan Rice's corner for his 74th goal in 109 internationals. So Arsenal's Noni Madueke scored his first England goal 2 minutes later with a pacey run and fine finish past Serbia goalkeeper Petrovic, a moment which had Tuchel pumping his fist in delight in the technical area. So the game was stopped shortly after because the Serbia fans were shining lasers at England's Izri Konsa. Now the defender responded by ending any hope of a Serbia recovery 7 minutes after the break when he scored at the far post. Also his first England goal, and Serbia's plight worsened when their captain Nottingham Forest defender Nikola Milikovic was sent off for a poor challenge on Kane, which left the striker requiring treatment. I tell you. So the punishment was instant as Guhi got on the end of the resulting free kick. Resulting free kick to add England's 4th goal with 15 minutes left. So it got even better for England in the final minute when substitute Marcus Rashford scored from the spot after Oli Watkins was fouled by Irakovic. It completed Tuchel's most satisfying night since he succeeded Gareth Southgate. The platform now solidly assembled for England to make a smooth passage to the World Cup. So just 5 points now from 3 matches for England. As we speak, as we speak right now for them to get that ticket to the next World Cup. Okay, 0813-538-2642. 0813-538-2642 is the number for you to call this morning. Yes, the phone line is now open for you to have your say. Let's hear from you. What do you have to say concerning that game, the game between Nigeria and South Africa? Your general assessment of that encounter. And Thomas, did I say Thomas? No, Eric Chill. Eric Chill is saying that it is not over until when it is over. That's what he's saying this morning. And I want to say hi to you guys, watching, far away from around the world. Thank you so much. All right. And of course, let's quickly also bring you this one. Erling Haaland scored. Erling Haaland scored 5 goals and set up 2 more. So Norway trashed Moldova to edge closer to qualifying for a first World Cup in 27 years. Now, the Manchester City striker set up Felix Horn on 6 minutes before netting 3 goals in 32 first half minutes at, of course, in Oslo. Now, Haaland, hit number 4 7 minutes into the second half before netting a fifth in the 83rd minute to take his tally in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers to 9. 9 goals so far. Haaland has scored more than any other player, in the qualification series around the world. Now, the 25-year-old was in supreme form, notching 5 goals in one match for his country for the first time, having done so twice for Manchester City in the past, I tell you. So we'll be giving you all the results around the world because we are not yet done with Norway. We are not yet done with Norway. Now, 2 of his efforts, talking about, Erling Haaland, 2 of his efforts were set up by Arsenal midfielder Martin Odegaard, who added the 5th himself just before the break, before Rangers midfielder Thielo Asgard came off the bench to score 4 second half goals. 4 second half goals. Leo Ostigard on goal gifted the visitors Moldova their 74th minute strike. But dominant Norway hit 11 in a game for the 3rd time. Yes, the game for the 3rd time in their history. Yes, in their history. Now, falling short of their record 12-0 win over Finland in 1946. So they've done this in 1946 before beating Finland by 12 goals to nothing. So they are short of that yesterday. But all the same, 11-1. Okay, and of course, Norway's victory equaled the record for the highest winning margin in an European, World Cup qualifying match with Macedonia beating Liechtenstein 11-1 in the 1996, qualifiers. Of course, Solbakk's side, who have won all 5 of their qualifying matches, face Israel and then Estonia before a potential decider in Italy on the 16th of November. So only the group winners are setting to qualify for next summer's tournament in Canada, Mexico, and the United States, with the runners-up entering the playoffs, I tell you. So that's the situation with the match between Norway and Moldova. Yes, of course, you are listening live. You are listening live to the Negri Sports right here on Negri FM 88.7. And wherever you are watching me from, yes, we say good morning to you from Nigeria here. All right, so let's quickly give you the results of yesterday's game around the world, particularly Africa and Europe. Now, in the African continent, Kenya defeated Seychelles by 5 goals to nothing. 5-0. That game ended. And Sierra Leone, of course, defeated Ethiopia by 2 goals to 0. South Africa won, Nigeria won. Cape Verde won, Cameroon won. That's the surprising result yesterday. Onana at fault in that goal. Of course, one has to praise the Cape Verde, striker who scored a wonderful goal, but Onana could have done better as far as a lot of pundits are concerned. But all the same, let's move on. Burkina Faso and Egypt played a barren draw. That 0-0. It ended yesterday, like you heard earlier. Senegal coming from behind to defeat DR Congo at home by 3 goals to 2. And Togo won, Sudan 0. Zimbabwe were stunned yesterday by Rwanda. 1-0 that game ended. And Niger also went away to beat Tanzania by 1 goal to nothing. Yes, it was a sweet victory there for Niger Republic. Namibia, whitewashed Sao Tome and Principe by 3 goals to 0. Mauritania and South Sudan played a 0-0 draw. Ivory Coast and Gabon played a 0-0 draw also and Angola 3, Mauritius 1. Yes, Angola 3, Mauritius 1. Benin Republic whitewashed Lesotho last night by 4 goals to nothing. That match was delayed due to lighting problem. But of course, in the end, it was sorted out. And yes, the Benin Republic then said, okay, it's time for business. And at the end of the match, Benin Republic 4, Lesotho 0, Gambia 2, Burundi 0. That was the situation with that game yesterday in the African continent. All right, and talking about European football in the European continent, where qualification also went down. Azerbaijan and Ukraine played a 1-1 draw. Yes, a 1-1 draw. Armenia 2, Republic of Ireland 1. That's one of the worst outings for Republic of Ireland. Now, France 2, Iceland 1, and of course, Hungary lost at home. So Portugal defeated Hungary by 3 goals to 2 away. And Bosnia and Herzegovina lost at home to Austria. Yes, that match ended 2-1 in favor of Austria. Now, the game between Cyprus and Romania ended 2-2. That is Cyprus 2, Romania 2, and like you heard earlier, Norway 11, Moldova 1, and Albania defeated Latvia by 1 goal to nothing. And then the much talked about Serbia 0, England 5. Yes. Meanwhile, the next World Cup round of qualifiers will take place in October, and of course, in Europe, they will also play in November. All right, and let's quickly bring you up to speed with some reports from England. Yes, reports from England. Now, attention would now be shifted to the league now. Okay, so international break has come to an end, and so attention is now shifting. So all players will be returning back to base for their club football. Okay, so Premier League clubs want more clarity about the settlement of a legal dispute with Manchester City over the rules that govern commercial deals. And on Monday, clubs were informed by the league that City had accepted associated party transactions regulations and are valid and binding, with both parties agreeing to terminate legal proceedings, and a statement being issued shortly afterwards. So APT rules were introduced by the Premier League to prevent clubs from profiting from commercial deals with companies linked to their owners that are deemed above fair market value. And City had mounted a lawsuit against the Premier League, claiming the rules were unlawful. However, according to sources at several rival clubs, they have not been told any details about the settlement nor what it means. So some suggested the league will be asked to clarify what, if any, assurances or concessions City have been granted at its next stakeholders meeting come next month. Yes, before we go, let's bring you up to speed with some gossips. But before then, let's bring you up to speed with the situation with Luis Suarez. Yes, Inter Milan striker, Inter Miami striker, I beg your pardon, Luis Suarez has been given an additional 3-game ban for spitting on a Seattle Sounders staff member. Now, the league's disciplinary committee gave Suarez a 6-match ban for his actions after the League Cup final defeat on the 31st of August, but that only applied to future editions of that tournament. So Major League Soccer has now handed Suarez a 3-match ban, meaning he will miss matches, against Charlotte FC, DC United, and Seattle in Miami's domestic, campaign. And Miami lost 3-0 in the final at the Lumen Field in Seattle. A melee then involving both sets of players broke out, with Suarez grabbing Saunders midfielder Obed Vargas before spitting on security director Jean Ramirez. Yes, Jean Ramirez. So it was a moment of much tension and frustration, which just after the game ended, things happened that shouldn't have happened, but that doesn't justify my reaction. Suarez wrote on Instagram, I made a mistake and I sincerely apologize. But even at that, yes, he was still handed that ban. Now, Suarez was given an 8-match ban by the Football Association in 2011, if you recall, after being found guilty of racially abusing Manchester United defender Patrice Evra. He has served 3 bans at Ayers, at Uruguay, and of course Liverpool for biting an opponent. Okay, and lastly, yes, let's quickly bring you some gossips now. Real Madrid are interested in signing Tottenham centre back Mickey van der Ven, but Spurs would only consider selling the Netherlands defender for about 70 million pounds. Manchester United and England midfielder Kobe Mainoo may seek to resurrect a loan move to Napoli in January if he does not get more game time at Old Trafford. ESPN is actually reporting this, and Arsenal will consider the sale of Brazil striker Gabriel Jesus and Belgian forward Landro Trossard in the January transfer window. And of course, West Ham are in talks to resign a Polish goalkeeper Lukas Fabianski just 2 months after the 40-year-old left club when his contract expired. And Liverpool and Newcastle are the latest clubs to join the race to sign England and Crystal Palace midfielder Adam Walton, with Chelsea and Manchester United also among interested parties. So much for the morning. Thank you for listening. And let's do this again, same time tomorrow, right here. I'm OJ Matthew, and see you tomorrow, same time, 11 o'clock, for another edition of the Grease Sports. Bye bye. God bless you.